Hey everyone, it's me Lone. I hope you're doing all right. Let's do it. I want to talk about Diablo 4. Unfortunately, this is not going to be a full proper review. By the time I got the review code for this game, I was reviewing System Shock, so I had to get that out, and by the time that I did, the early access for Diablo had already started and everyone had released their reviews, so I totally missed the boat on this one. However, I put as much time into it as possible during the early access period thanks to a code from Blizzard. And I am a complete noob. I'm a complete casual when it comes to this game, but hopefully you still appreciate my perspective from someone that's just much more of a lay fan that hasn't really touched Diablo in the past, and that's very much still in the kind of early game. I only got to level 30 on my rogue class. So hopefully you still appreciate it. I don't know. I'm just going to babble on and talk about what I like and what I don't like about this game. So if you enjoyed this video, please do like it. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. We're continuing to do more reviews of different games outside of my wheelhouse. So I appreciate all of you supporting all of the new content. But let's do it, all right? This is Diablo 4. It's a typical ARPG. And this is coming from someone that has barely played a Diablo game in the past. I knew roughly what I was suspecting when it came to this game, right? It's a game where you go through, you kill demons, you get a bunch of loot, you complete side quests, you do your dungeons, all that kind of crap. Again, I'm not in the end game. I'm still progressing through the main quest. I've just completed Act 1, but I've put in a decent amount of time because I'm trying to do everything that I can, do every dungeon, really experiment with different playstyles when it comes to my rogue. I did pick a rogue, but there's other classes as well. You got Barbarian, Necro, what else do you have? Druid is the new one. You've got Sorcerer as well. So a few different classes. You get to pick whichever one you want. Apparently some people have already leveled to 100 with their classes. How the hell do you do it? How do you have the time? I'm only level 30 and I've barely scratched the surface when it comes to this game. So my experience is coming from me playing as the rogue. But I tell you what, I love playing as a rogue. I think this class is a lot of fun. I did play as the rogue during one of the closed betas, and I just continued that during the early access period. And a lot of people have suggested that the rogue is a great all-rounder, someone that you can play during the early game. You're going to level up really fast. You're going to have a ton of fun playing it. And to be fair, that is true, right? If you are a new player to Diablo, please do play as the rogue. It is so much fun. I don't know how viable it is in the end game, but once I figured out the rogue, it's just been a blast to play and a blast to pull the combos together and everything. The pinnacle point when it came to my rogue build was I think I encountered my first kind of mini boss in a dungeon and it just wiped the floor with me. I almost killed it, to be fair, I almost killed it, but I realized that my build was not optimal at all. I was just experimenting with different stuff. So at that point, I really had to think and be like, all right, what's going to pair nicely? What should the basic skill be? What should the core skill be? What should my armor set be? And all that kind of stuff. And once I figured that out, once I figured out what made the rogue tick, that's when the game completely opened up for me. You can see the gameplay on the screen right now. I'm just smashing through enemies. It is freaking awesome playing as this character, and I'm assuming that a lot of the other builds are just as fun. Like, I've seen people having a blast playing as the Barbarian, as the Necro, and the end game is a whole different ball game as well. So the rogue has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed the gameplay. I've really enjoyed just doing dungeons, all the enemy variety, seeing what different playstyles I have to adapt to, you know, when it comes to the enemies. Some of them will rush you, some of them are more ranged attackers. So that's been a lot of fun. But when it comes to the mechanics, I tell you what, I have no effing idea what I'm doing. Like, there's so much terminology, there's so many things to learn. Like, what the hell are overpower and vulnerable and crackling energy, you know, thorns. There's so much stuff that the game admittedly does do a decent job with the tutorials and telling you what this is roughly, but you know, we're still scratching the surface when it comes to this game. I've listened to a bunch of guides and watched a bunch of guides and tutorials of this, and the advanced players are still figuring out what everything is and how it all works with each other and how things stack together. So honestly, if I just see a new armor piece that I'm looting and I'm picking up, or a weapon or whatever, if there's a lot of green telling me the stats are going up, I'm picking it up. And even me, I haven't really been following anyone else's guides. I haven't really been doing anything like that. But during the early game, even playing on World Tier 2, you're still going to kill enemies. You're going to have a bunch of fun. I think all of that stuff, when it comes to really learning the mechanics and trying to get a good build, that's going to be much more important in the end game. So if you're concerned about that, don't be. You don't need to worry about any of that stuff. You will learn it eventually, and to be honest, you'll probably pick up a guide and watch some YouTubers. They're going to describe, explain that stuff much, much better, but the game still at least does a decent job. Like, there are some tutorials, but anyways. There's a lot of enemy variety, as I said, a lot of different attacking styles, and they just nailed the core gameplay loop, right? I am addicted to Diablo. I keep going back to it. I want to keep playing. I want to play the game right now, but I got to record this video, so I want to smash it out and then keep playing Diablo. It's like they've, during their experiences with past Diablo games and all of their development experience, they've got a bunch of player data. They know what makes players tick. They know how to get you back in. They know how to make looting look cool, and the sound of the armor dropping, the weapons dropping, and the color and everything. It just makes you want to keep playing over and over and over. And of course, with a game like Diablo, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be getting all your classes up to level 50 and then eventually level 100. You're going to be getting the best builds, the best loot. You're going to be running dungeons constantly and whatever the hell else you do in the end game. This is a game that's designed to make you play it, and the battle pass isn't even out yet. That's coming out at launch, I believe. So it's addicting. It is really freaking addicting, and they've absolutely nailed the gameplay and the combat loop. So if you've liked past Diablo games, you're absolutely going to love this. If you like ARPGs or any RPGs and you don't mind playing in a top-down isometric view, this game is awesome. It's absolutely nailing it. And to be honest, it should be a Game of the Year contender. I think it's going to be up there with the likes of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Whether or not it's going to win, I don't know. I think it's got like a 90 or 92, something like that on OpenCritic. But it is a really good game. It's really addicting. In terms of the story and the premise, it takes place after Diablo 3, I think like 50 years after one of the expansions. TLDR, Lilith, I can't ever pronounce her name. Lilith has been returned. She's been resurrected, and you have to take her down. That's the story. I'm not going to go into it much more than that. I will say, like, the story is compelling. It's interesting. Don't get me wrong. I think I'm not appreciating it enough because I'm not well versed in Diablo's lore and I haven't played the past game. So really I'm coming in not knowing what's going on. But the game does a pretty good job kind of, hand-holding you if you are a new player and explaining to you roughly what's happening. Evil character coming back, need to take her down. It's quite simple, but there is some nice storytelling in there, especially with, as I said, I just completed Act 1. Side quest storytelling, a little bit simple. There are some decent side quests in there, but I haven't touched many of the side quests anyways. But I will say it's keeping me interested, but it's the gameplay loop that's really, the appealing factor of this game. But I will say, holy crap, they've nailed it when it comes to the CGI, like the in-game engine rendered cutscenes. But the CGI, man, it's just beautiful. They look amazing, right? And this game looks incredible. Jumping to the graphics and the performance now. It's a top-down isometric game, so it's hard to compare. This is not apples and oranges, with other games out there, but it looks incredible. For me, it's ran really, really well, super, super smooth. I am using DLSS. I am playing at 4K, so that's the gameplay that you're seeing on the screen right now. But Fidelity is great. The particle effects look awesome. The colors, the enemy attacks, your attacks. It's a beautiful looking game. It's a beautiful looking Diablo game, and I am really appreciating it. I'm really appreciating the theme and the gothic nature of it. Even the audio, the music is freaking awesome. This is a beautiful looking game. Now, I'll admit, there has been some issues, right? I've had some infinite loading screens. I've had times where I've just had to hard exit out of the game and go back in. There's been a few bugs here and there. Like one example, I got caught in an enemy's poison trap and I couldn't move. Now, usually that's like a temporary car control effect, but I couldn't move at all for like a solid 15-20 seconds, and I just had to watch my character die and revive again. And then again, I got stuck in that same enemy's attack and I was able to move fine after a few seconds. So that was most likely a bug, even though I don't really know Diablo that well. I would say that was a bug. So a few bugs, few issues here and there, but honestly, the game is running pretty smoothly, especially for a game as popular as Diablo. So many people are playing this thing right now, and I was expecting on the, I say launch weekend, it's still early access, but I was expecting on the weekend full well to not be able to play the game for hours and huge queues and all that kind of stuff. But that is not what has happened. Every time that I wanted to play the game, I've been able to play the game. I am playing from Australia, whether or not that affects it or not. But it's been running pretty smoothly, aside from a few hiccups here and there. But it's been nothing to take away from my experience. Again, I haven't played that much, but that's been my experience so far. The controls of this game are awesome, all right? If you're playing on mouse and keyboard, because that's where you're at, you're on PC, fine. But if you are playing on controller, that is where this game really shines. It feels so good to play, especially when you got your character class, you know what your skills are, you know what all your button binds are and all that kind of stuff. You know exactly what you need to press when you're going in and attacking enemies. It's like awesome. It feels so good. This is a game, like, I was thinking that I might have to use mouse and keyboard because, again, I don't have much experience with Diablo, but I was trying it and I was like, this just doesn't feel as good as the closed beta when I was playing with a controller. It runs so well on controller. So I would say, even if you're on PC, give it a shout. Some other things that I wanted to mention as well when it comes to microtransactions. There are microtransactions. They are cosmetic though, so not the bigger deal. But I will say, they're a little bit expensive. I just wanted to I bought this cool wolf-looking rogue outfit for my class, right? And it almost cost me 40 AUD. So whatever the conversion is to American, I think that's like 25 USD or something like that. If that's actually what it costs in your region. But it's a little bit expensive, right? So, like, even though it's cosmetic, like, I would like those prices to come down a little bit. Like, if the store keeps refreshing and there's more cool stuff, this is where they're making the bulk of their money when it comes to the game. So hopefully that's not too bad. But there is, as I said, there is going to be a battle pass, and I'm really interested to see how the battle pass operates when it is out at launch. But to be honest, those are my quick thoughts and impressions and reviews of Diablo. As I said, this is not a full proper review. I just wanted to give my thoughts. But it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It's making me want to come back time and time again. It's addicting. And let's see if we get my character to the end game. Like, there's a ton of YouTubers out there that are already doing guides and stuff like that. I don't think I'll probably produce guides like I did with Fallout 76. You really need to know a game. And Diablo is very, very confusing to me at the moment. I still need to learn a lot of that stuff. But I'm having fun, and you don't need to pay attention to a lot of that stuff. It is an enjoyable game. So let me know if you've been playing Diablo in the comments below. But until next time, this has been Alone. Please take care of yourselves. Thank you, Blizzard, for the key, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.